Hey all, welcome to August Flatcar office hours. And how about we start with a short introduction round? I think we all know each other, but I'm not sure about the crossing here. So yeah. So whoever speaks then points at someone else and they would introduce themselves. Chewy, how about you starting?
Yep. I'm not sure if I've met Simon, so for his benefit, I became a Flatcar maintainer in April. I'm a developer for Gentoo Linux as well, so I have that background. And I've been working on all sorts of things since I started. And I'm in Scotland as well.
Now say a name so someone would pick it up from there.
Over to Simon then.
Nice to meet you, Chewy. I'm Simon. I work for DeepL in the infrastructure team, and we are using Flatcar on an increasing number of our nodes. And so I like to drop by here from time to time and hear what's new in the Flatcar world and maybe ask a question or two. Yeah, let's continue with Adrian then.
Hello, I'm Adrian. I work at Cloudways Solutions, and I'm a Flatcar maintainer as well. And recently working on the RISC 5 Flatcar support. It's just experimental on my own currently. And a lot of other Flatcar bits.
Cool. So pick a name now.
Please, Cyan. Or Jared.
Hi. Sorry, I've never joined one of these before. I'm not sure how you guys usually do it.
So we're doing just the introduction round. So just to introduce yourself and then say a name. And Cyan and I didn't introduce ourselves yet, so these are the names that are left. But your pick now. So
Okay,
please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi. My name's Jared, as it says. I work for Datadog and am a senior systems engineer. I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Does that work?
Yeah, that's perfect. What do you do at Datadog?
I help between two different teams: the team that runs Cilium, which some of you probably are pretty familiar with, and then also the team that builds currently Ubuntu-based AMIs across all three cloud providers. But I'm evaluating Flatcar, so we'll see.
Cool. I think Cyan had some problems to unmute, so I'll go first. So hi, I'm Danielle. I'm a PM for Flatcar and based from Berlin. So let me recap a bit for you, Jared. So Simon is from DeepL, and the rest of us on the call are on Flatcar, working on Flatcar. And the last but not least is Saya.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, and see you too.
Yeah. So I'm Sayan. I am from India, and I primarily look into the releases of Flatcar. These days, I'm primarily working on getting the secure boot items into Flatcar. Yes, that's all of us.
I think you're the best, but we have a segue because currently the only item on the agenda is yours. So just like talking about the latest release, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, so it would be a short one. So we this is to I'll share my window. So this is the first time we are doing this. So we just pushed out a new major release for Stable. This was along with a new major alpha and new beta, but this Stable release happened after like 3-4 months now. So I just wanted to go through what all things came in. So as usual, we with a lot of package automation in place over the last few months. We have seen a constant, a good number of package updates that have been pushed out. Earlier, a lot of the packages used to be manually updated, but now we have been slowly working for the past 1 year. Kajime has been working on it to get automation into place. So we have like a weekly package update, that a thing that happens. So yeah, so that covers a lot of the package updates and the security fixes. Um, uh, we definitely saw a good number of vendors getting added thanks to the work that Matthew has been doing on this front. So Flatcar Stable now supports Hessner and Scaleway, and we are in the process of adding more number of vendors onto Flatcar. So there are few supports in alpha or beta. If you would like to try, you could try, but definitely. And anyways, like Hesna and Skateway are like some big providers, and we have the support for it in the Flatcar table. And the next is the Sysex. So as you know, we have been working on this initiative of system Sysex, on integrating system Sysex. Um, and now we have like the Docker and the container the setup. It has been there, but the new ones that got added was like the ZFS and the Podman. We are in the process of adding new ones. The new ones usually would see like the ones to get an update of what are getting built officially. So you can always head to the Sussex Bakery. So this is another effort that Matthew closely works on. So I would definitely gives him kudos there. Yeah, the next on the line is the kernel update. So we, with the current stable release, we bump from kernel 6.1 to 6.6, and along with that, we also brought in disk encryption. So you can now do like a TPM backed disk encryption. This was done by one of our contributors. So good. This has been long awaited into Flatcar. So yeah. Um, and yeah, so metrics and contribution. So this is usually something we cover in the developer sync meeting in a much more detail, because we have our monthly reports coming out for contributions. But we just wanted to give a shout out to in this table release we actually committed some 2000 commits, and we had new we had around 24 contributors during the release. This included the Flatcar maintainers, which are like 5 6 of them, and all of them are like external contributors. And we also had some 7 new contributors among the 24. So thanks to all the contributors for making the stable release. And finally, getting involved. So as we have the stable out, we definitely would like to you folks to test it out. There usually some um, even though we like so do a like a alpha, so it stays in alpha and beta for some time, like a couple of months, but it's still good to test stable and then report any issues there. If also we would heavily like folks to have like a test their testing infra for beta as well, so that they could test before it is stable. And you could always file an issue on our tracker. And we are, I mean, if you are using Flatcar, we would definitely love you if you could like add. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, if you could add to the adopters list, if you and how you use Flatcar. Yeah, I guess that's it. Over to Daniel.
Cool. So, Jared, when I was doing the introduction, I was unintentionally partially right about what I said to you. I mean, Adrian, Cyan, and Chewy are maintainers of Flatcar, but Adrian actually is cloud-based. So the rest of us works at Microsoft. Yeah, so just wanted to mention that. Adrian, we were talking with earlier today. Did you want to also share something today? You're on mute.
Sorry, who was that to?
Oh, Adrian.
Oh, Adrian, right.
Yes, I could share about the endeavor of adding risk v support to Flatcar. So it's a thing that I've been working for a while, and I already have some boards at home, and fiddling with them. The Adding the support to risk 5 actually has allowed us to see where are the, let's say, Gen 2 upstream pains that we currently have in Flatcar, and Chewy it's also working on it to fix or to get Flatcar as close as possible to the upstream Gen 2. There's a lot of work, a lot of packages that have been, updated and left there, and then rolled over, and so that part it's taken care of currently. Hopefully, in a matter of a few weeks, I'll have a working prototype, proof of concept for Flatcar on Risk. I'm quite close. I actually built a Flatcar rootfs, so the only things remaining will be grub and initRD support. Flatcar has a, let's say, particularity in how it manages the workflow of the initramfs, initRD stuff. So if anyone is interested, let me know, and maybe we can collaborate.
Well, as part of that, we're taking the Gen 2's Rust package, which makes it easier to build it for other architectures, and it also builds a lot quicker, so it will speed up our build times, which helps us maintain things more easily. So I've hopefully on the last iteration of that, now that Gen 2 has picked up the latest Rust version, that, and that aligns with what we're using. I can talk about what I've been doing if you want.
Sure.
So up till now, I've mostly been working on things sort of behind the scenes, sort of more developer focused, but sort of moving towards the front of the house now. One issue we have is that our boot partition is getting rather full. The kernel takes up almost all the space, and we're running out. So trying to move the kernel into the USR partition along with the rest of the image, so to alleviate that problem. Been various challenges there, but I'm getting pretty close now. So I'm going to work in tandem as well with Cyan on the secure boot end of things, because those two things kind of go together. Jeremy's also suggested that I look at an issue where I think it's the ISO or the PXE booting or both is taking a long time to start for some reason. So that sounds quite interesting. And then looking at adding support for, I must admit, I didn't fully understand what he was asking for, but something about adding a writable ignition file into an ISO or something, which would make it a lot easier to deploy as well. So it sounds quite interesting.
All right.
Okay, back to you, Danielle.
Thank you. Well, we have a very light agenda today, so let's open it up. And does anyone has anything they want to discuss or share today?
Maybe a quick question from my side that came up internally. Is there some policy on when you bump kernel versions?
So I can answer that. So currently we are on 6.6, and that's is the LTS, and it's end of life 2026. So currently, I don't think there is a push or a need to go to 6.10. But if someone requests some features from that, maybe we can open an issue. Is this more related to the features?
Yeah, I mean, the question came up because of some new Cilium magic that requires a very up-to-date kernel. It's not like super important, but we just wondered whether there's some strict policy you have on when the kernel gets bumped. But I understand that it's a little more flexible, which makes
I
sense.
actually looked today at the LTS and the schedule for the new releases, and all of them, including 6.1, are supported until 2026. So that came as a surprise currently. So I think that we can open an issue to bump to the next stable. The problem is that it doesn't write. It's not written LTS on the current ones, newer ones. So maybe when the new one appears, 6.12 or the new LTS, maybe that will be more future proof. So to bump to the LTS to the next one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, usually we try to stay on the LTS kernel, and that I guess happens. Like usually, this discussion starts coming up during the end of the year, and that's when we start looking into it. But given we have a LTS branch as well, so that's why we try to stick to an LTS kernel.
So, can you tell me more about the actual feature?
Actually, I cannot. A colleague brought it up. I mean, I just glanced at the blog post.
It's also curious. We have a lot of pains with the minor releases that sometimes break because people recently, or the maintainers of the Linux kernel, actually introduce features, not only code, fixes and bug fixes. So sometimes it might get actually backported in some sense. Just recently, we had an issue with the 6.644 minor that introduced regression, and that it was actually some kind of a feature or a not backportable patch, right? So we can take a look.
Yeah, I think it was more the general question than this particular feature. But I mean, it makes sense to me to stay on the LTS kernels, and I mean, you're on the most recent LTS kernel, right? So
yes.
That's completely fine. Yeah.
Although it's quite old in terms of numbering.
It's not that bad. I tend to run bleeding edge on my laptop, and that's only 6.9. So.
Okay. Well, I don't want to point anyone out, but Jared, you said that you're evaluating Flatcar, so maybe you want to share with us where you are, the evaluation process, or like.
Yeah,
what you're
happy
up
to.
to.
Yeah, so I don't know how this started. Again, sorry, I'm just like a hands-on keyboard like engineer. I'm not like a TPM. Someone high up decided that we should look at this. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. I used to run CoreOS way back, in probably like 2014. I did a senior project in college using CoreOS and thought it was super cool. So when someone was like, hey, Flatcar, you should try it. And given the history of it, like, sure. Anyway, so where I am today. So maybe for context, Datadog, we probably have like over 100,000 different virtual machines spread over all 3 cloud providers. So the AMIs we build today are all Ubuntu based. They're heavily customized, and there's a lot of old things in there that are debatable as to whether or not we should have them in there. But it's like it's annoying to like we have a custom thing for run C, we have a custom containerd, we have a custom kubelet. I mean, it's all forked, it's all custom. So while the sysextent images that are in the bakery repo are great, at least for proof of concepts, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to figure out how to do all of that internally myself. The other bit that I've been trying to understand is kind of these node startup dependencies. So with the system extension images being fetched, I was a little concerned that they might be become dependencies. Holy shit, it's Ed. Ed and I are in the same city. That's fun. Ed. Anyway, so where I was going with this, what I'm trying to evaluate right now is with system extension images, what are the cons to the way the node will start up? Does it always need the network access there to fetch those? And does it actually make sense for me to go down the path of building a custom base AMI with all of this burned into it instead? And that's kind of like where I'm at. It's mostly me reading docs and watching old talks and trying to wrap my head around the new paradigm. So anyway.
Are you also on metrics?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
So, like, in order to interact with all the maintainers, they usually just hang out on metrics.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm in there. Yep, I am.
Okay, cool.
Can someone answer that about the SysX? I haven't played with them enough to answer it yet, so.
I mean, as far as I know, once they are downloaded, you have one version downloaded, you can reboot without having to download it again.
That's what I would have expected.
but I would have to double check to be 100% sure. So yeah,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
It seems the SysX experts are off today.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I realized as I was going through the examples that I'm about to dive into the deeper end, given how much we customize our images, but that's fine.
Cool. Ed, so we kind of covered the agenda. It was a light agenda today, and like, I don't know, is there anything you want to discuss today?
Nothing urgent. I saw the note on the Slack channel, and I was not doing anything at the moment, so I thought I would drop in. It's good to see you, Jared. We should catch up and see what our mutual interests are in this, because I heard you on the air. Heard you on the air the other night, so we're not too far. We're within radio range at least.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So the only thing that's on my mind, and I don't think this is directly going to be addressed by Flatcar, but it's something upstream. And there was a talk at DEF CON about some fairly obscure but fairly worrying problems with AMD. Some way to get a very, very elevated level of privileges on the CPU that could potentially be a persistent threat. What's the name of the? I'll get the name of the vulnerability while I'm talking. Anyway, I think this is just an update for the AMD microcode at some point. A package that will be updated at some point, and I'm just going through the rounds of like talking to all the distro people to see what they know about that package and whether they have any specific plans for specific updates to it.
If it's microcode as opposed to kernel, then yeah, I think that's very feasible.
Closed. Yeah, it's sync closed. The Jared has the security post up in the chat.
Yep.
And there is a package. I know there's a package on Debian that should have the corresponding updates. But I don't know whether, like, I haven't completely taken inventory of how all the distros are handling this.
It's if it's a CVE, then it's probably on our radar already. Let me see.
Yeah, there is a CVE for it. Hold on, let me pull the number. Yeah, here we go. I think, yeah, that's the one, Danielle. So I think our team, part of our team's thought, well, this isn't so bad that we should do something urgent emergency out of band to fix it. But still, it'd be good to have this on people's CVE fixing radar, because not because of the imminent risk of it, but because of the potential depth of difficulty if it does get exploited in the wild. Sorry, that's what's on my mind.
Okay, well, I'll take a look around after this, see if we've got an issue for it. If not, we can look at that.
Sounds good.
Cool. So unless anyone else wants to bring another topic, I guess it would conclude our meeting for today. Next meeting would be the developer sync in 2 weeks, and the next office hours would be in 1 month. So if you're not on vacation, we'll be very happy to see you.
Right, thanks all.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.